And we are back with another very, very special. We have the wizard himself with another. Between the Cheeks, Boss Bus, Beans and Cheese, Beefaroni, and Ready. Hot and ready with Paul Brunetti. We have Paul Brunetti himself.
Hey guys.
Welcome, Paul.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Yeah, it was a little last minute, but I'm glad to be here. First podcast experience. It's exciting.
That's awesome to hear, man.
We are excited as well.
We've referenced Paul so many times. Like in past podcasts, the things that he said, there's one particular thing he said, and it's always rang true, is that Pete Ricketts eats crickets. And it's
there was
a fact.
A whole segment that we had on the podcast about this where we went on a full 10-minute or 5 to 6 minute tangent about how Pete Ricketts in fact eats crickets.
He does.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty well common knowledge at this point, but I think the story broke like 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half. I was like the biggest story I ever discovered on it was actually so I used to work at this community center, and we had the mayor in at one point, and I tried to get her to admit where he keeps the crickets, because I've been for a long time saying it's coming straight from the Dorley Zoo, because like
we're talking about Gene Stothard.
Gene, right? Of course. I mean, yes. I'm not going to name names. But you can say whoever you want. Yes. But a particular mayor of Omaha was giving
She's a lady,
speech.
Correct? She could be. I mean,
I don't know how they prefer to preference themselves, but in this moment in time, she was giving a speech at the place we were at, or the community center, and I tried to come over with her afterwards. I actually have a video of me trying to get her to tell me where the crickets were at. I was like, "Hey, Gene Stothard, where does Pete Ricketts keep his crickets?" And she acted like she didn't know anything, but I saw her eyes.
Yeah.
There's secrets.
That's how you can tell. Yeah. The secrets of the crickets. That should be the next Harry Potter movie, and they go and investigate Pete Ricketts' crickets.
Dude, he's a homunculus or something.
Yeah.
He's like half cricket himself.
Hardy Boys, like Junie B. Jones. Like
just
and the mystery of Pete Ricketts and the crickets.
Junie B. Jones.
They're trying to find his crickets. They know he has them.
Yeah.
He's healthy. He's well fed.
Honestly, they all could investigate the mystery. It would just be different age levels of understanding of Pete Ricketts and his crickets.
It would be a psychological undertaking of how different demographics understand the political connotations of it, and also like what it means for Omaha and Nebraska as a whole. Like, what is it doing to our environment? Like, what is it doing to the political stances? What is it doing to racial integration?
What is it doing to the ecological population of crickets themselves?
I know. It's terrifying.
That is terrifying.
It is something that is numerically notable, and you should definitely fact check on, because crickets could be in danger in Omaha because of Pete Ricketts.
Pete Ricketts eat crickets. I guess we've established that, and I'm glad I gave you something to rant about while I'm not even here.
It's true.
But yeah,
it's true.
We just want to pass your word on because it's so wise. As a wizard, we know that the words that you say.
I don't like that term. I'm sorry, but like everyone always says, "Oh, you're a wizard. You're a wizard." I'm like, can I just be a guy? Like I always.
Okay, so wizard, I feel like is just in the connotations of that you have a magical aura. Yes, like that wizard. Like when people think of a wizard, they think of someone that like they project magic without trying. Like the way that you perceive things, the way that you look at things, there's a magical being to your perspective, and I think that's why people would say that.
I get that. Like I've always understood like that magical thing. It's just I don't know. It just especially nowadays in culture and stuff, it seems wizard's almost like kind of like a egotistical kind of term. And like I'm actually currently writing a short story about like this old dude who's a hermit, and once in a while I'll come into town and he knows like science and stuff and does some things, and everyone calls him a wizard. Everyone thinks he's super magical. He's just like a weird old dude that lives in the woods, and so like, but this whole town is just convinced he's like this magical.
Would you prefer the term sage? Because I feel like sage,
that, if anything, is more.
Why? Because I feel like, but I mean,
why can't I just be a dude that likes weird things? You know, like I can't.
Because if you have an impactful interpretation of these things that other people see as minuscule or non-important, and you can turn these things that really have a grandiose and broad impact on society and turn them into a verbal and even say just magical from a description standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can make those stand out to people that wouldn't notice them in the first place, that gives you magic itself.
Yeah.
Even if it's not like, okay, you're not like some infinite
some
god
guru,
being.
some
Yeah,
guru
like,
dude.
but like just the fact that
Yeah.
your perspective
Yeah.
puts light on something that not a lot of people do. Like there is a magic in it itself.
And I guess it comes down to who's saying it. Like if I'm calling
True.
myself a wizard, that's when it.
Yes, that's
like,
there's
so
an
it's
ego
like,
to that.
I am what you say I am. It's like your words, not mine, kind of thing.
Mhm.
You know?
Absolutely, and I get that because especially if you're like from
Like there's a lot
a
of
lore standpoint of what a
Mhm.
wizard is. Like you think of a wizard, and they're very knowledgeable, all-knowing. Like they have this like grasp of intelligence itself, where it's like I would never like just agree and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a wizard. Kind
yeah.
of
The
a
person
thing.
who says they know is usually wrong, or is wrong just
Right.
because they think. That
As soon
way.
as you
So-
accept the
And
fact
that-
that
yeah.
you know everything, you don't know anything.
And that's like
kind
the
of a
thing with like my problem with I guess with spirituality or religion themselves is once someone starts to claim like they know the answers, that's when I kind of like chagrin. Like there's a famous story that I always like to connect to when everyone asks me like about my spiritual beliefs or anything. I always say this: once upon a time there was a traveler. He was walking through the forest and he came upon a town. It was a town of kind of poor villagers. They were kind of living day to day, just trying to figure it out. And he's come around this town. He's like, hey, can I spend the night here? He's like, of course. And they give him like a bed and they let him hang out. And he's like, just don't go into the woods because there's werewolves in the woods. And they're going to eat you or turn you into a werewolf. And he's like, okay. And he spends the day there, goes to the next village the next day. I'll keep walking down the road. This village is full of priests and like very religious and all these like churches
They're devout.
and stuff. Yeah, very devout. And then he's like, can I spend the night there? Of course. And they give him a bed and they charge him for his bread and whatever. And then that night say, hey, you can hang here, but don't go in the woods because there's demons in the woods and they're going to steal your soul and take you to hell. He's like, okay, spends the night. Continues on. We're going to paraphrase a little bit. And then goes to a third town, which is these rich people full of like bankers and
Aristocrats.
Yeah, aristocrats. And they say, yeah, you can spend the night here. It's going to cost you some money. And I'm like, okay, pay some money. And they go, okay, just don't go in the woods because there's thieves in the woods. They're going to cut your throat and steal your money and that. And so basically the kind of point is like there's something in the woods. But depending on where you've come from or your background or your social standing or your ethnicity or how you're raised, all these different things determine what you determine that thing in the woods is. And so like with spirituality, if you are someone that was raised like Catholic and kind of was in that kind of sheltered community, you might stay that Catholic. Or if you're someone who's Catholic and then wanted to like spike that, then you find like these more spiritual paths. And that's like, so like for me, it's like there's something in the woods, but to say I know what it is or to say that X means Y, like in any point, regardless of if it's like a organized religion or not, it seems like when you get that, I know what's going on, that's when you kind of lose the objective of the whole thing.
Right, and I feel like that's a really good point because like in societies all throughout time and history, like there's this ideal of, okay, we have this society that's, cooperative and it works together well, where there's a sense of positivity to the story that they tell at the beginning, and then there's this negative or just like, dark aspect that is put into it where everybody for some reason, because it is so mysterious and there's so much intrigue and information to be found in it, that they will still stray from their, say, like utopian or like perfect, like, built society, and that whole personal choice and ability to like distinguish things your own way is like, leads so much misdirection in situations where like you said, like everybody has their own perspective and opinion on things, but like just one kind of misguided thought can put like,
well, not even necessarily misguided, just like we lack the ability to actually know. Like even science is not as foundational as we expect it to be. Like
it's foundational in its own sense.
It's foundational, but like even like things we regard as a specific like fact and always this way, there is always going to be some irregularity, some things, and depending on what you're looking for, you're going to find or dismiss things to set a narrative. And so like just recognizing that we don't have the equipment just as a person. Like our senses were developed through evolution to help us survive. So like the way we see things, how we use sight to see these waves is specifically for what was beneficial to this group, not exactly what was out there. So there's other senses or how these senses are used.
And that's what also I was going to say is to that recognition of from all different points of society. Say there's 3 different societies, like you said, that have all different perspectives of the woods, where all of their perspectives, although they be different, detailed ideas of what's in the woods, they're all of their ideas relate in the same point of the fact that the woods are negative. There's something bad that will happen to you when you go to the woods. There is some kind of entity in the woods that when you go there, something negative will happen to you, whether it be a thief or a werewolf or whatever the priests were thinking were in the woods. Like all of those things had negative outcomes for you. So if you wander into the woods,
fear of the unknown.
Yes. So it's like all of them might have had different descriptions in particular of what the woods came out to be, but all of them had the same outcome, whether regardless of the details.
So, I think that your story in general is a really, really good illustration about how one's upbringing and one's past and one's experiences shape their perception on the world around them. So I really appreciate that, and I think you make a good point in regarding spirituality, and also what you first said in regard to you being like referred to as a wizard. And I think in regard to how people perceive you, like if people see you as a wizard and see you as just a person who like has just a magical aura to them, like you have a lot of light in your heart, and you view things in a unique way. And I like, you're right though. The second that you were to start calling yourself a wizard or a shaman or anything like that, it changes.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, especially in like our kind of communities and stuff, there's people that like always are coming up with like a spiritual healer and stuff like that. Like, and not to say like some people don't have that stuff, but like it just seems like some of the people that come out and say that, it's kind of like by saying it, it makes me less likely to believe it, especially the people that I see saying it, but not to.
Yeah. Well, on that note, Paul, for those who don't know, who are you?
My name is Paul Brunetti. I was born and raised here in Omaha, Nebraska. I make and sell walking sticks and other wood objects. I'm currently starting to make more stuff like kind of like rings. I'm starting to do. I have a lathe now, so I'm going to try doing some like chess pieces and stuff like that. So yeah, I go to like music festivals, Renaissance fairs, things like that. I'll sell my wares. I like to dance at those festivals as well. That's where most people kind of know me, as they see me as like I'm not the best dancer, but I'm the hardest dancer there. You know?
You were involved. Like when you were at the show, you are participating with the show just as much as the person playing the show.
Because like that's the fun of the festivals. Is like I'm always the one to yell at everyone to come to the dance floor, because it's like we can go camping. Like that's why, but we're going here to see these people perform, and some of these people are really good. Like especially some of the music here, like the locals, especially like some of our jam bands are really high level.
Yep.
And it's, for me, it's like to be able to experience that and like find my groove within that. Like it's a unique experience that I feel like more people should. I guess, I mean, I don't know, not tell everyone how to live their life, but I feel like they're missing out if they're sitting at the campsite all night.
Right, whereas it's like if you go to these shows and you haven't tried this part of this dynamic of the event yet, like I would encourage you to go do this, because this is where, as a frequent showgoer, this is where I thrive. You know, I totally agree with that, because I love the whole social camping dynamic that there is at festivals, but like being able to go like non-spoken with your friends to sets, knowing that you guys all love the same music, and then like enjoy like 4 hours of music, and then go back to the campsite afterwards and just vibe out and talk about this like 4 to 5 hours of music you guys just checked out together without speaking a word to each other for that whole time. But then every thought and processing that you've done in that like time of jamming out, it all gets to come out for the next 6 hours while you're sitting at the campsite and just hanging out with your friends. So that the separation of possibilities there, because I know that they're like, I've been with groups where you go to the show and you're going to talk through the whole set. You're still going to dance and stuff, but you're going to be sitting and talking up the artist the whole time the set's going on.
Yeah.
But it's cool to have the opportunity to visit all those kind of dynamics for music.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm always a wanderer. I'm never at one place too long. But yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, I agree with your statement. But yeah, going back to Zach's point or question. So yeah, I make sticks. I recently graduated from UNO with a philosophy of mind degree, which is like,
congratulations.
It's whatever. Everyone's graduating now because we're all doing online and they don't care anymore. But that's just my hot take. But anyways, I graduated with philosophy of mind, which is like memory, or it's psychology, philosophy, and neuroscience kind of like mashed together. I'm currently working on a research proposal for the philosophy of memory kind of thing, writing like proposing certain research into like people with like perfect memories, kind of like a Rain Man kind of person that remembers every moment of their life. And using
photographic memory.
Yeah, kind of like things where you remember every point. Like you can ask them like, where were you on 9/11? They can tell you exactly what they ate that day. They can exactly like any moment in time or day of the year. And we're trying to use them to kind of like redefine these kind of set in stone understandings of what episodic memory is, or just like what we see memory as, because it hasn't really changed since like Plato. Oh,
yeah. So you're talking
move.
like in the
Patrick,
Greek.
do you want to scooch in a little bit?
Yeah,
Just
the Greco-Roman era.
The mic doesn't really pick up that well when we're far away.
Oh,
So if you can totally lean back, I just need
so
to
this
like
might have
move it
been like
6
a
inches
whole
close.
ASMR beginning where it's just like whispering the whole thing. That's fun.
Look, seeing it from over there, that it's not.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's just like really, really tiny.
Well, I'll speak up too.
Yeah, so I'm doing that currently as well, and then in the meantime, I'm playing the banjo and working at Olive Garden, paying the bills, hanging out.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, you know, figuring it out. If you guys need breadsticks or soup and salad,
Yeah, like,
do you get breadsticks?
oh, breadsticks for days. I got the Andy's mints on
Let
lock.
us know. Give us a shout on on Facebook which one you work at,
Yeah.
and I love going and getting some pasta always.
Oh yeah, you
so.
come in, yeah, I'll get you some free soups. The soup, because the soup and salad is the best part. Like
the minestrone,
minestrone.
literally one of my favorite soups ever,
Mhm.
and the fact that I can go there and eat pasta, which is my favorite food, and I can get one of my second favorite soup, I'd say, with my first favorite food. I'm in heaven the whole time I'm there. And then they have some cheesecake, and they got real good drink.
And you got the Andy's mints to end it all.
Oh,
off. You're
yeah.
good.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally.
Like I never went to Olive Garden before I started working there, and I was like, okay, I can enjoy it. Like the soups, I'll eat. I get free soup whenever. I
And the
work there, so.
ground cheese that they put in everything.
Romano cheese, man.
That
Romano
is
cheese.
just the icing on the cake.
Wow. And we've known Paul for a while too, because he went to our high school, so I was in choir with Paul for 2 years when I was in choir.
Mhm.
And you can fucking sing, dude. We so Paul goes with us to karaoke, or has invited us to karaoke
Many
and
times.
There's three songs now that Paul does that I've gotten stuck in my head for weeks, and it's not the song. It's Paul's rendition of the song. Like Sex Bomb and You Ought to Know are both.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you what. That it's honestly not just your rendition of with your voice, but like your physical.
Yeah, you gotta sell
involvement.
it.
Bro, have you seen him do
Like,
those two
that-
songs?
I've seen him do Sex Bomb for sure.
That's kind of the point of karaoke. Is like, you don't have to be good. It doesn't matter. Like I might have a decent voice, and I think I have a decent voice. I don't think I'm
Absolutely.
Like I don't
I'd
need that
agree.
praise, but it's as how hard you sell. Even if you have no voice, if you go in there and you just act like you're on a stage, everyone's gonna love it, and that's the fun part of it. Like I don't really go to bars too much, but I'll go to karaoke because I sing in my car enough. Might as well sing on stage and.
Yeah,
Play around,
and
you
that's
know?
what's great about it is that like you go up there and you know every word, and you might not even be trying to hit all of the notes like perfectly every time,
Mhm.
but like you're so involved in the song that like even though you're just like you're loosely singing the song into the way that you know, like you said, you'd be singing it in your car, you're so like invested in this like song that you're singing that everybody's gonna sing it with you. Like everybody's in that same
everyone
spot
that
where they're
knows
like,
it will be up there and jamming.
you turn that vibe up in the room where everybody's like, oh, I'm singing in my car, I'm about to sing it with you right now.
Yeah, there you go. That's the fun of it. It's just like allowing yourself to get into it, even if you're not. Like for me, I'm not trying to be good. I'm trying to just
Have fun.
let it out,
Fun.
you know. And that's the same thing with like dancing, or same thing with making a stick. Same thing with anything. Is it's not about perfect. It's not about showing off. It's about finding the groove of it.
I have a
Finding the
gorgeous
motion in it.
staff that I have that I use for festivals that I got from you
Oh yeah,
at River Jam.
I think I remember.
It was actually 2 River Jams ago. It was
Okay.
when our friend was.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Yep, when I lost my vape in your tent for a second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. I remember that stick.
Yeah, because you found it for me actually. Except I dropped it, and it was like when I was coming over.
That's
to
the
get a
thing is
stick
everyone
from-
loses their stick at least once, and I always like I get the joy of being like, here you go.
Well,
and they
I was using my stick like happily the whole time,
Yeah.
but I was in there and I got it and I set my vape down by like on his little like station that he had for like all of his staves. So when I left, I was walking around. When I checked for it, I couldn't find it. So I went back and found Paul, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll go check really quick." And then he came up behind me while like towards one of the last sets. He was like, "Hey, I found this," and I was like, "Oh my god, I thought it was gone." Like,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
That's sticks.
But I'd say that whole year, I brought that staff with me every show.
Yeah, there's something about a stick. Like, sticks like in human history, have been one of the most important tools we ever had. They were our first tools. Like they were the first things that we could manipulate to as weapons or as tools. They were what brought us into the agricultural revolution, which I don't agree with. I wish we never had the agricultural revolution.
Fuck agriculture.
But I'm not. Yeah, that's not what this rant is about. This rant's about sticks. But yeah, that sucks. Fuck agriculture. But yeah, they've been like a centerpiece for humanity forever, and up until the Industrial Revolution, everyone carried a stick or a staff around with them. Like they carried a walking cane, and some of them would be like defining your class, or some of them would be almost like it's been a symbol of authority, but it's also been a symbol of fighting against authority. Like in Ireland and Scotland, the shillelagh, back when British rule kind of
the
was
Irish
imperialist
Revolution.
control of them, they weren't allowed to carry hand weapons with them. So like no swords, no axes, no bows and arrows or whatever. But everyone carried their stick with them, right? And so they go to like they get this one type of wood, which is a blackthorn wood, and they take it out and have these big baubles on them. And they'll hollow them out and fill them full of lead. And they use them to fight off the fucking imperialist assholes. And it's like, so that's like a symbol of rebellion.
Blackthorn wood was a very like a specific tree that was
it's
regionalized
like a
to
bush
the area.
like tree, yeah, for those areas. I have one wood that's one of my favorite sticks that is from a blackthorn bush.
Because my staff that I got from you is actually it's a straight staff and it has a little bit of a knob on the end, and it's kind of like a white wood with like black like seams on the inside, where it was a different kind of wood that I could tell that was from the other ones, and that's why I was like, all right, like this is the one that I want.
And then the fun thing about like selling sticks at these festivals or Renaissance fairs and stuff, it's almost I feel like I'm like Ollivander from like Harry Potter. It's like the stick pick those wand picks the wizard.
For you.
Or like I can walk up and I can see a guy walking up and I already know what stick he wants. But like there's a way to sell it where you give him another stick. I usually have like a beta stick, which I know I'll probably never sell. But like I give it to them first and they kind of like feel out what they're looking for in a stick, like how to hold it, what to look for, how it feels, and then I give them another stick and I can tell when to give them the stick they want, and they get it and they just go, "This is the one." I'm like, "You got it." But sometimes I get surprised, of course. Some people just
that's
like
smart because you give them a stick, they're like, "What does this stick feel like?" And they're like, "This doesn't feel right."
Yeah,
and then you're like,
"Oh, there we go."
You're like, "Okay, I because of the way you're dressed, the way you're walking, the way you look, like all this stuff. Like I'm gonna give you another stick afterwards that you felt the stick, and you're like, wow, the difference here. What do you want? Like what do you need for this? Because this is for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And then I never try to sell the sticks for much. I bought my first stick at a Psytrance festival for $20. I wouldn't have paid more for it.
Yep.
And I fell in love with this piece of wood. Like I would dance around with it. And it was never left my hands. I literally would sit in the sand and just churn the sand for like hours at a time, just doing that, and just I don't know. It was something clicked in me, and I was like, how do I go back home and like tell my parents? Because like I don't want to leave this stick. Like I'm gonna carry the stick around with me forever. And I'm like, I can't. My parents are gonna think I just did a bunch of drugs or we're fucking losing my mind because I just in love with this piece of wood now. And so, but from there I started taking it anywhere I could, and I would like fake a limp if I thought I was going to a place that I didn't think they'd let me because no one's gonna question a cripple. So, but yeah.
And that's funny that you say that because honestly, I think at that festival I bought my first staff on the third one that you showed me. You showed me two different ones, and then the last one it caught me different than all the other ones, and it was $20 exactly. And I had after you handed me that one after the first two, I had no question in my mind that I was going to give you my money and walk away with that stick because it was mine.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. Like, yeah, piece of wood. And nowadays I've been trying to do things where I take people out and do stick hunts with them, where I'll go in the woods, we'll collect sticks, and we come back, and then I'll teach them how to make their own. Because the process itself is almost like an active meditation. Like, it's hard work, but it's simple hard work. Like, it's a simple action of just stripping the bark.
Monotonous.
It's monotonous, but you also have to be paying attention. You have to be where your hands are. You have to be in that kind of moment and just do that. But your head can kind of swirl, and you just kind of get lost in it. And like we'll be like, and at first we're just hanging out talking, and then 20 minutes in, we haven't said a word, and we're just carving, and they look at me and go, "This is good." So like that. Yeah. If you guys ever want to come make a stick, let me know.
Yeah. Next time you go out stick hunting, let us know. Yeah. I'm down to go whenever. I'm very open book. So.
There we go. Okay.
I have one, but I could always use more. So
that's how it works.
Yeah. Wow. So, Paul, also, what do you do besides making sticks? What is there any other hobbies and things that you really enjoy doing?
Yeah. So, like I said, I play the banjo now. Okay. I've had a banjo since I was like 16, but I never played it. Like I'd play it for like a month and then give it up and be like whatever. And I did that a couple times, and then during this whole situation, the COVID thing going on, I just picked it up and just because I had picked up so many times, I had like those basics down, like the rolls and things, so I was able to get to a point where I could play songs pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great little relaxer, great little fun time to figure out and you just play with. And so like I'm really excited. I'm really wanting to get into do like open mics and stuff, or finding if anyone out there plays a bluegrass instrument like a mandolin, a fiddle, anything like that, and wants to jam. I'm looking for that now. But that's my ad.
That would be a powerful
we could
instrument. If you were to have multiple people and you guys were all to be playing similar of that bluegrass,
that'd be so
Paul
fun.
in a bluegrass band would be absolutely far too powerful.
There are a few people that I could possibly connect you with that might be able to jam out with you and see
sweet.
what's up.
Yeah, I would love that. And yeah, like my dream would be to like travel around, play banjo, and tell stories.
Because I mean, just off jump, like most of my bluegrass or like jam band kind of friends are mostly from Lincoln, so you would already be traveling an hour to jam out with anybody.
Like traveling around and banjo, like playing music and like finding a way to like incorporate like storytelling into it too is like because like storytelling has always been like the center of my life ever since I grew up listening to Bill Harley. You should all look up Bill Harley. He's a beautiful storyteller.
Third time I've heard you say something about him, I'm gonna have to.
He's
look
amazing.
Him up now.
He doesn't have a lot on YouTube. The only one that's I would say to look at on YouTube would be like Further Around the Bend. But most of his stuff you can get on like Audible or certain apps. You can find free versions. You guys know what you're doing. But yeah, ever since I grew up listening to him, I've just been enthralled with storytelling. Like I still am an avid reader of like fantasy and stuff like that. I'm a DM and do D&D and stuff like that. And I guess we'll talk a little more about that in a minute. But yeah, storytelling has always been a big point of me, and I've finally been like writing it down more. And like I told you about that one story I'm doing now, but like so I've been currently working on a project for myself because I kind of suffer from a really problematic like dream like condition where I have like this Caesar condition which causes me to have like these super strong deja vu moments like that last up to hours at a time. And they are very severe during my dreams where I have these like month-long episodes a night where I will have like a whole dream that's like either like a hellscape or a crazy adventure or something very weird with like these entities coming up. And like I'll have this entire hyper-realistic month-long dream in it. And I'll wake up and I'll have to like...
In one day, right? One night?
Yeah, in one night. And I'll wake up and have to like separate that from reality because it's not like it goes away. It's not like I forget my dreams away. It's like they stick with me. And so I have to like... So for a long time, it was where I couldn't separate like that dreams from reality kind of thing. Where I was like, "Did that happen, or was that in my head?" Or like I'd never really met people for the first time because they were in the dreams. Or I would have a friend that I knew a little bit, but then spent like a month with them in the dream in like this serious situation, and then like that's all in my head. So I have to like separate that. And so recently, I've been taking some of those stories and like writing them out into like short stories themselves, and it's given me some kind of like control over it and more of like a handhold on it because like I can write it into something cool and it also helps me with storytelling. So
yeah. Dude, I think that's a really good way to do it because that it's so tough to separate the thoughts that like if you experience something with someone in a dream, say even for a month, you befriended them, you got to know them, all of that, like coming out of that dream and being like, I hardly know you at all, but like you want.
I have inside jokes. I have that connection. I have these things, and I can't go up to them and just like hug them or do this whole thing because it's just like
right. But it's like if you could be in my dream, it's like
So it's been it's been weird. But recently I've gotten way better at handling that. But this has been for like years now. But like
and I honestly there's a huge relation I have to you with that where like with my previous addiction I had to prescription benzos where I had the Xanax prescription and. When I had gotten off of them and everything, like I had these withdrawals and the immediate reaction my body had was me having these dreams that were like, they categorized as dissociative hallucinations where I would close my eyes and go to sleep and have like, I'd project through 8 hours to 9 hours of sleep. I'd have a month to a year's worth of experiences and I'd wake up and I couldn't separate what happened in my dreams to reality. And I'd be in my cell telling my roommate about all this stuff that I saw and like they'd be there and I'd tell them and they'd be like what they'd be like what the heck, like you are the most crazy person I ever met.
I'll make an inside joke or I'll talk about hey remember that one time or this is like that one time and like
and it was one of those things where it's like it was so quick fixed for me where it was like and it was also because it was induced like to a heavy manner because of drugs or whatever like that I could not I wouldn't separate. I'd wake up in a full like trance almost and tell everybody about it and just be completely unaware of what was real and what wasn't. And like you said, like there's a huge process of afterwards when it stopped. Like for me, it kind of like stopped after I started taking medication or whatever. The process of getting like being like, okay, this was real, this wasn't real, because there's such a close tie between those stories that because your brain takes reality and then makes a its own description out of it. So to see like real things happen in your brain but not know if that was like eyes open or eyes closed is
it's definitely a balance. And I've like there's a lot of ways to like work through it, and I've like keeping a dream journal, teaching myself how to lucid dream, meditating, having like tics throughout the day where I like try to see if it's like a dream or not. Things like that. There's a lot of different ways to like have some control, but then there are still times where I go to like it's like I'm like on a DMT drip, but someone else controls the lever and is just like making me go through these like hellscapes or like these entities and shit, and like it still can be incapacitating, but that's life, you gotta figure it out.
Yeah. And a follow-up honestly I had with your whole what you do as our new DM with your storytelling that you were just telling us about. What is your backstory and what is your connection to Dungeons and Dragons, and what with your storytelling background really led you to be just to shoot for a DM? Like
So like I said, I've always loved storytelling, and I've always tried to tell stories. Like that's kind of been a thing. Like it was back then when I would be telling Bill Harley stories, do that, and other times I would make up my own or tell the dreams in like a unique way. And then I started listening to like podcasts and stuff with like D&D, like Critical Role or Adventure Zone is probably my favorite, things like that. And I started like getting into this like community and started learning the rules and stuff. And I've always been looking for people to play with, but no one's ever played before or doesn't know or doesn't really care because it's like nerdy shit. But I mean, the whole nerdy shit thing has become like normal stuff nowadays.
Well, the whole tabletop thing I feel like has become outdated based off of like all of the computer generated RNG games that they have that are similar, but like
I've always seen D&D as basically collaborative storytelling, where like I as a DM will create a story, but but you guys are the characters. So like I'm telling a story, you're the characters, and then you have to have a level of improv where I'd be like, I want you to do XYZ, but you can go over here and just shoot the fucking president, and we shouldn't. But you go over here and kill a dude, and I have to do it.
We're shooting the president of D&D
in a game. So I can make this whole idea coming up, but I have to be able to roll on the ball and play with that. And so like my first actual experience with D&D was one of my friends. She had a group with her family that she would play with, and their DM kind of wasn't there anymore, and I was telling her how I liked D&D. She's like, you want to DM sometime? I was like, I've never played, but I know the rules. Let me try. And so like I just made up a little campaign, started writing some stuff out, and that was like the first time I really got like actual storytelling down and was able to do this with them. We played for like a year, and it was super fun. And then I started doing a game with my brothers and some of my friends, which I'm still doing. And it's been really great because both my brothers have moved out of the state. So having that like almost like weekly connection to them and like telling a story and making jokes and playing around is super fun. But yeah, so it's just I feel like it's something that I really like, and being versed in fantasy with how like I read a lot of fantasy books. Oh, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, like I like reading fantasy. It's probably my favorite genre, and so I have like an idea of that knowledge going into it. So being able to implement that myself, and I've also know like a lot of my favorite authors started with D&D. Like they'll talk about like before I ever put a word of this on paper, I had played this world out for hundreds of hours in D&D. It's like most of these really famous, like Patrick Rothfuss, Sanderson, people like that, they completely built these worlds in D&D or another tabletop role-playing game and then incorporated it in their story. It's like, that would be great for me. And that's something I want to do and want to build.
And that's kind of another question that I had that was kind of following up on the whole idea of your storytelling to D&D. What kind of influences do you think, not just from your streams and from your own experiences, but like from the people, the input that you've got from telling your stories, what kind of creative inspirations have you got for storytelling as a whole from just painting campaigns for D&D?
Well, I mean, I guess character development has been very different. Like, how I see a character is one way, and I like when I'm helping someone build their character, I kind of see their character as this, and then as the story goes, they're playing it with their own mindset of it and would do such things. Like I expect them to do this with that character, but they go over doing this and have justification for it or completely take the campaign in a different direction.
Right.
And so being able to have those like outside perspectives of how to play the same character or how to play in this environment and different focuses on what they want to be important or what they like about it, it gives me a better perspective of writing in it because I can say, okay, well, like it's not just me here. I have to see what other people would think, and a good writer would want to do that too. Because if you're writing every character like it's you, that's not really entertaining. Is when you have like multiple characters that have their own personalities.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
breadth.
So in essence, it helps you storycraft outside of your own box, where you could still paint pictures of a character in your head, but not just use your own ideas.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's really cool because like for anybody who wants to be a storyteller, do things like that, being able to use and transition other people's input into your character creation, your backstory, your plot, anything that you're using for your story writing, and being able to not just make it all relatable to one opinion is, I feel like, huge for any kind of a story that you would want to be transitioning to someone else.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we forget how separated we all are. Like we all have so many connections and so many things we can share. But like at the end of the day, you're the only one that knows your head, and even people you know intimately are very connected to. You really only know them like 10%, and they only know themselves like 40%. Like so much stuff goes on underneath your mindset and influences or directly determines your decision making and your choices and things that. To actually know how they think or even have a slice of that is those kind of connections are very important, but it's also you need to recognize how limited they are. And by having these conversations, just talking to people, having conversations, but when we go into storytelling, that's where I kind of see that kind of blossom. Is like we all have like ideas of what a story is, and like just like asking people like, oh, tell me a story, and just like trying to make something up on the spot, like trying to like where their minds go, what kind of world it is, what story's going on, what are the conflicts, what are the connections. Like you're gonna get, everyone has their own unique kind of
so like reading between the lines of someone else's story, where everybody is telling a story that has the same objective of being a story, but the things that they are using to build a story is personal to the individual every time.
Yeah, and like even if it's like a real or a fake story, like even if it's like telling them a story of their life or like something that happened to them, shitty or really cool, like they're gonna have the focuses of their story are going to be based on how they were raised, where their life is at, the environment they're in at that moment, who they're talking to. Like, there's so many factors involved in that I just kind of lost what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's unique that we all love our own stories, and especially things that have happened to us. And some people, it can be very problematic, where like we love like these stories of like our suffering or things that bring us to like this point. And rather than changing the stories or moving forward, we kind of like marinate or like gestate in these like things that kind of like comfort us in the suffering. And rather than rising above it, we just want to be seen in that and like seen fighting rather than
an essence of complacency.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely could feel that. I feel like a lot of, especially anymore in the past year with all the virus, everything, where everybody is stuck in one place, that complacency is something that comes so readily because of everybody wanting to avoid the reality of what our world is right now.
I mean, yeah, well, it's all about distraction, really. At the end of the day, like there is so much, like especially the time and place we live in nowadays. Every moment can be full of distraction, whether it's just whether it's watching a video or listening to music, or you can always have some sort of stimulant focusing on you at a time. Like for me, my kind of first awareness of that was when I was delivery driving at Papa John's, and my car didn't have a radio in it, and I would be in my car for like 4 or 5 hours a day in silence. And like, how many times do you drive without any noise going on, anything out there outside your head? So for so long, people have been in those silences where they only have their head to be, and people, it sucks, and a lot of times it can be scary, it can be traumatizing, it can be full of anxiety, but being able to recognize those moments and give yourself those moments cut off from the distraction, cut off from all this bullshit that's always just rampaging through us, it's important. Because at the end of the day, we are just, like, though we are human, we are still animals. And we kind of are we live in a society that allows us to kind of escape ourselves. And we need to be able to face it some point or another.
Modern civilization lets us escape all stresses and anxieties, and that's why anxiety and depression are a thing themselves, is because our human nature and our nature as animals, as you said, is to have constant stresses and trials and tribulations to make us be exerting energy to survive at all times.
It's not. I'm not trying to be as doom and gloom as that. I was like, we're required to be stressful, but
No,
it's more of the overstimulation.
And I just meant in this fact that, like, based off of our genetics, we as animals were initially made to be stimulated to the point where all of our anxieties that we feel now would be satisfied for survival.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we would need to use every amount of anxiousness that we have as a living being to survive in the wild. But now that all of the comfortabilities we have in our society that exist, we don't have to stress about, say, 60 to 70% of the original anxieties that our body are built for.
Yeah.
So all of those anxieties that our body are, maybe we don't like learn to sort out as we're born and raised, those are things that are we're predisposed to, where all of a sudden all this anxiety that is not used in our body, it comes back around to us and causes us a negative effect, even though it was built for a positive reason.
Well, it's just like it's just, for me, it always comes back to the overstimulation, where it's like we, even the poorest and the especially in America, the poorest and like worst off people in America live better than most like 14th century kings. If you have a place to live, you have air conditioning, you have a TV or a phone or something to watch, you have high calorie food that's really delicious for like $1 at fucking McDonald's. You have those basic needs overly stimulated, where it's like, I have the screen that is always giving me entertainment whenever I want it, whenever I need a distraction, whenever I look at something, music all the time. Like, these things, they're not what we were made for. So are these things are things we crave because that's the stuff that was good, but I guess too much of a good thing in that point, where it's like it keeps us complacent. Like, that's where
Yeah. I would see it in the same perspective, where it's like you say overstimulation, where it's like our bodies were made to be stimulated to a certain amount for survival, and because we're overstimulated in these really complacent activities like TV or driving, or things that like just make our lives so much easier, that like instead of having to be stressed about travel for 3 hours a day just to get water or whatever, like we drive to the store and buy a pack of water, and we're good for water for 3 days to a week. And our bodies, instead of having to exert that anxious, that energy that we have to survive for water, it's literally trapped inside of our bodies, and all of a sudden we have all of this extra energy that we don't know what to what or how to sort it out. And I feel like that's the human agenda anymore, is that we have all of these necessities that are given to us immediately as we're born, but it's like we have all this extra energy now that all of our needs are satisfied. So what can you do?
But if anything, we lose that energy. It's not like we have stored energy. It's that we don't have energy. We don't need to do this stuff, so we don't even build the energy.
And I feel like that's what breaks the classes down, is that a lot of these people, that like, we are given all these things, and even though we're taken care of in all these other ways, we're going to spend all this extra energy to try and make more. And that's what brings these people above everybody else, is that like the people get complacent, like you said. And the fact that I'm taken care of in all these ways, and I don't have to use any more energy to be okay. So all the energy that they don't use, it goes to waste. But it was there originally. They could use it if they were, placing it in the right places. But it's so quick to go to waste, because we have so much comfortability and all the things that are given to us, that as soon as it goes away, we don't know what to do.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just a weird world we live in, and I don't see it slowing down. Like,
no,
I would love to be an Prim. Like, that's my dream. I wish I could be an Prim, like an anarcho-primitivist, where we go live like hunter-gatherer tribalism. But there's no way putting that genie back in the bottle. Things have exponentially grown to the point where it's like there's no way to go back to that. And like, that goes back to my point of fuck agriculture, because that's where we went wrong as a species. But
yeah, the complacency and we're not adapting and
it
evolving
creates
and traveling.
the classism. It creates all this stuff. Like like the reason why, like even like things like revolution and stuff, which back in like those times, people had a reason to fight back. But even now, like even though things aren't fair and even people are suffering and struggling, most people have enough that they're satisfied to the point of they're not willing to risk it. And so like
complacency,
changing the system requires radical action, but that radical action has consequences. And when we're already kind of at a point where our basic needs are met, then it's harder for us to justify that radical action.
Absolutely. That is a great way to put that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, I feel like with the radical dynamic of our society and the evolution of our, environment around us between the American Revolution and just the revolution of a lot of other third to first world countries at this point in time, like, there was not a lot of comfortability for the general populace in those countries. And once that was met, the amount of push to be radicalized or for change to happen right now dies out as the comfortability and as the needs are met, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, I guess I don't have anything else to add to that at the moment.
But Paul,
yeah,
you're now our DM for Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm very excited going forward. I think we've called it Dungeons and Dart Heads is the name.
I think it's perfect. I named the chat Dungeons and Dildos, so I think that's a better rendition of what it really is.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's going to be 3 guys and a DM hanging out. I'm excited for you guys. Like, it feels like I'm the only one that has any actual real experience with DM or Dungeons and Dragons. Yep. You guys have learned about it. You know the rules and stuff. But if you guys out there have never played D&D but kind of want to see what it's about, this would be a good thing to like learn. Because we've been talking about putting like on like an audio podcast or something like that with the thing, and I feel like people who don't know what it's about would learn alongside you guys and like kind of follow it with the jokes and the.
And I'd love to be able to contribute that to everybody because I've been interested in tabletop D&D for, I want to say, almost 10 years now.
Wow!
And because I have family members that have played since D&D Edition 1 came out, and I've heard about like campaigns and things like this forever, and never really had a group that I was comfortable like stepping outside of my comfort zone for RPG gaming and doing it with. So it's like I've done character building and like looked into it and done all that kind of stuff, but like never really I'm like, okay, if we're gonna play around and we're gonna be really role playing, like who am I comfortable like stepping outside of myself and role playing with? And you, as a person that I know is very, accepting outside of the box person, like I'm very happy that you are a DM, and having Zach and Justin as our other two, as my teammates, as my, my party members, really has me in this place where I'm, I can see nothing but fun coming out of everything that we do.
It'll be really exciting, and I have another campaign going right now, but I have a lot of stuff that I wanted to use for them, but they basically went a different path. So I have a lot of different like campaigns like outlined out, and I feel like it'd be fun to like work you guys into those as well.
Well, I feel like that it'll be helpful to you too to use some of your new or your campaigns that you've made and they not got a test yet, because us being newer, we're not going to be super judgmental or super like we're not going to be like, oh, this isn't like a normal campaign. Like,
but again, there's the fear to that. Like there is there's a parable of the master swordsman where the number one swordsman in the world doesn't fear the second best swordsman in the world. He fears the novice because the novice doesn't know the rules. So he might go do something that I didn't expect because I'm expecting the certain classes of fighting, and then he swings a sword bluntly in a weird way. I'm like, you're not supposed to do that, and he cuts my arm off, So like that is kind of fun where it's like you could fuck up this whole thing just by doing something you didn't know you should do,
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, it's fun. I like that, but I like the improv. I've always liked kind of improving and riffing and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I feel like as a DM where you're testing new campaigns too, with like us being like a little bit more paced with everything, where we're not trying we're not going to be rushing through everything. We're going to be having to take a little bit more time just to solidify our campaign and making sure we're doing everything properly. Like it gives you freedom to make sure that not only are we having fun, but also you get to have fun painting the story for us. Because I'm sure in a quick campaign it's harder. Even though like improv is fun, like it would be more difficult to improv something in a 5-second like spot versus we're all looking up our spells, checking things. You get an extra minute and a half to decide what you want to do. So I feel like that for the whole campaign through weeks and weeks that we're going to do, there's going to be a lot more creativity allowed because we're all kind of pacing ourselves.
Yeah, that's sweet. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be great. Definitely make sure to check out the first episode of our D&D podcast. It'll be out in a little over 2 weeks. So keep an eye out for that. Is there anything that you want to plug, Paul, before we move over
Do
to
you
the
have
drinking
any
game?
sale websites or anything contacts for your sticks?
Actually, I was about to post on Facebook, but so my stick page. If you guys ever want a walking stick or some wood art or whatever, or want to come on a stick hunt, Darthead Stick Craft on Facebook is the my page. I was about to drop a Black Friday deal for like the next month. We're like you can get because sticks, especially like instead of the Yule log, I want to do it the Yule stick nowadays because like we need to adapt with the times, modernize. Sit around a fire with your stick companion, kind of cuddle up. So like I'm selling a 2-for-1 kind of deal going on, and I'll post more about that on the page. But
that's a really good.
And definitely send us a link and everything, so we'll post it with the podcast when we post everything. So
yeah, I'll definitely make sure to include that down below. So check it out down below to Darthead Stick Craft. It's going to be great.
Quality sticks for sure.
Thank you to our sponsors today. We have Matsunami Corp, our biggest sponsor. We also have Teespring, teespring.com/stores/the-branded-bus. You can get your bus apparel, everything there. We're soon going to have a giant goosebump tapestry hanging right here, so it'll be perfect. Thank you again to all of our sponsors, and I think now would be a perfect time to go to King's Cup. So we'll see you in a moment. If the audio is different, blame Zuckerberg. Yeah, clicks makes grown men cry.
It's like, it's funny as fuck until you get to the last part, and then all of a sudden it's just like, this is the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Old man Adam Sandler who missed out on his
He literally ran to see his kid and then dies in the middle of the road.
Yep, with an umbrella while it's raining.
He's like family comes first and then dies. Like, it's like,
that's life.
I'm skipping my honeymoon because of a meeting, and he like dies about it to tell his kid.
That's the Sandler verse.
Dude, Sandler has perfected the bad movie. Like the newest. Have you watched his Herbie Halloween?
I've heard it's good.
It is the perfect bad movie. Like he has got it down to a science of what is bad, but like in a good way. Like one of my favorite movies of all time is The Cobbler. Have you guys seen The Cobbler?
Yeah.
It is an Adam Sandler movie where he is a Jewish cobbler that if he uses a specific machine and then he wears the shoes, he basically becomes that person. And it sounds stupid. It sounds like the dumbest fucking movie in the world.
It's ridiculous.
But
it's great though.
It's actually amazing. At the same time, like it's a shitty movie, but then
it's
you watch it, you're like,
but amazing.
wait, this is good. You're like, you have those points of just like disbelief because you're watching this ridiculous movie, and then you're like, wait, this is pretty good. Like I don't know.
Dude, I will have to check that out. He is a master, dude. Even 50 First Dates wasn't that bad.
None of his movies were
That's
great.
honestly one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies, honestly.
I like Big Daddy.
Well,
Big Daddy was fun.
So the
classic.
movies that from Adam Sandler that have a lot of comedic value to them.
Are we live right now, or are we just...
Yeah, we're live.
Okay.
But
Hi.
also
What's up, guys?
have that like seriousness to them where it's like, okay, like there's at least 30 to 45 minutes of this movie where I'm literally like, my heartstrings are being pulled at, even though I was laughing my life away for the first hour of the movie. But like to come and tie it up with something that's literally tearing my heart apart and then make me laugh at the end while I'm crying, I'm like, all right, sir.
That's perfect.
All right,
also,
sir.
Also, I just realized I've been wearing my fucking TD Ameritrade shirt this entire fucking
Hi, Dad.
time. Shout out. Yeah, shout out to Mark Brunetti.
Yeah.
Fucking good man. I love Click. It's fucked me up. Because it's like, would I want to fast forward my life?
No.
No, and Adam Sandler showed me why.
Yeah, so it was those things where it's like, oh yeah, skipping all these little tiny minor inconveniences would be great, but then like all of a sudden all these like consequences come around for skipping minor inconveniences like showering,
like your son doesn't love you,
or having to give your wife a
all
back
about the
rub
rewind and the
before
pause.
sex.
Fuck
all of a sudden you're
rewind and
rewind
pause.
and the pause is all you need. You don't need the
so
fast
can
forward.
you imagine like we're like I just don't want to give my wife a back rub, and then all of a sudden you're skipping sex every time you have sex. You never get to have sex and remember.
I think the problem is because so I don't think fast forwarding is bad in itself, but the problem became when the remote itself chose when to fast forward.
Yes,
Because if he just said, "Oh, I want to fast forward right now for like a minute," or "want to fast forward to this one thing because it's boring," but it's like, "Oh, every time you do it, now you're gonna fast forward."
Yes,
that's where I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that.
The intelligent memory.
If the remote was only the remote and didn't do its own things, it wouldn't have been that problem.
But how realistic is it expect to have a universal remote that you can browse your memories, you can change life itself with, and it not to be like
a dick.
Well, it not to be
it was so mean.
Not to be
yeah, it fucked him up.
It could have just been like not.
Click Adam Sandler did nothing
wrong. The fact that the remote
fault.
was to think the remote wouldn't be sentient enough to remember what you liked and didn't like after the fact that it could pause and fast forward real life isn't realistic. To think a remote that could literally change the universe itself wouldn't remember what it was changing.
Yeah,
is kind of like
it should. It would have a memory
if it had that
Yeah.
ability, it should have been better implemented.
this man literally went back to his conception and
Let's
watched his mom and
rewrite
dad
click,
fuck,
guys.
and then he came
Oh.
out of his own mother's vagina.
We should rewrite
Click 2.
Yeah.
Or clicker. Click.
Clickier.
Yeah, Clickier. Clickier 2 with Paul dressed as Adam Sandler.
Click replay.
Ooh, Click Rewind.
Replay. Yeah, rewind.
I like either.
V2. Click V2.
Click. Yeah. And
double click.
I think it's Willem Dafoe's
Double
fault.
click.
Double click.
Double.
Oh, but it's now like modern. It's a computer that he has. Oh,
Double click.
dude,
I'm saying
Adam Andler.
Hit me
Oh
up.
my goodness.
I love
We've
your
got
movies.
We've got a movie
Hit me
for you,
up.
sir.
It's a universal smartphone.
Yep. Universal smartphone.
Sweet.
Boom. It's got a remote app.
So how do we play this game? I've never
So-
played before.
What we'll do is we'll have you start. So it's really simple. It is you draw a card, and then there's a rule associated with that card. And then once you draw it, after you finish, you put it in here, and whoever pops the cap on this has to drink that drink.
Okay.
So we'll go, and we'll go as we go.
So I got a 9.
That's a rhyme.
Rhyme time.
Yep. So you
a
say a
word.
rhyme, and we go around, and whoever can't
Like pick
rhyme
a
or
word
says, yep,
or
yep.
pick a sentence. Okay,
Pick a
word.
word.
Corduroy.
You're a monster.
I was gonna say bok choy, but that's not really. That's not that rhyming.
That's 2 words.
Corduroy is one of my favorite words.
True.
Sorry. Got ya. I could have said orange, but an
What is a rhyme with corduroy?
paper boy.
That's 2 words.
That word I would give, but I'm saying is
That's a
'cause
mega
then
slant.
I'm saying is you should be allowed to do 2 words. Otherwise, someone would just
If
say
it works,
orange
same
every
with
time.
orange and door
Yeah,
henge.
you
Door
should-
henge.
I say you can say
I don't know. I'd drink on that every
double
time.
word.
Just personally, because I need 1 word rhyme. Otherwise, I'm drinking.
I'll take it. I'll take it if you drink on that every time.
I will. I will.
Because then I don't have to drink when I fail.
My favorite.
10 categories. So Patrick says a category, and we have to say things within that category until we can.
Hispanic food. Tamales.
Tortas,
taco,
Pozole.
taquitos,
gorditos,
Quesadillas.
burritos,
salsa,
Enchiladas.
lengua.
tapatio.
That is. That's a food.
Oh man. Chimichanga.
I'll give you that. Birria. Birria is a delicious thing.
Ceviche.
Sopa.
Oh, ceviche. Sopapillas, the dessert version.
It doesn't have to be dessert.
Or
It
it's
can-
also can
yeah.
be just tiny.
Guacamole.
Salsa.
Pico
I already
de
said
ga-
salsa.
No, you said
I said salsa.
I think
I said
there's a
salsa.
little
Alright, I
memory in
didn't
my
hear
brain
it.
that he wants to say salsa.
Carnitas.
Tequeños.
Churros.
That's a good one. Oh my god, what is it called? Menudo.
Arepas.
Quesadilla.
I say quesadilla.
Oh. Crunchwrap Supreme.
That's authentic.
We should just go
gordita.
through Taco
gordita.
Bell. No, I
Chalupa.
lost. I said tacos. I said Crunchwrap Supreme.
We were
I
about
lost.
to list off the whole
Yeah.
ass
We
menu.
were
don't
about
need
to
to
get
go
down on
through
top
that.
of them. And you were quick.
Chalupa.
Crunchwrap Supreme is the only good. I need another drink.
Oh, I got you.
Crunchwrap Supremes are the only good things in Taco Bell, and I will die on that hill.
I
best
honestly, yeah,
best
they're
thing,
the
not
best
the
thing.
only good thing, the best thing.
Yeah, that is the
better.
best thing. Shout out, let us know in the comments what's your favorite Taco Bell item. There's only like 5 that exist now.
Yeah,
Are they taking off Baja Blast too?
If
They
they
better fucking
if they
not.
are,
I
then
heard
I'm
that they
boycotting.
lost their contract with their contract with Mountain Dew is going up, and they're just going to start selling it like everywhere now.
Well, if they don't, okay. So if they have it there, then it's fine. But if they literally stop selling it, I will not eat Taco Bell anymore.
Really?
Honestly,
I
the
will-
Baja Blast like probably the second best thing on the menu.
It's the best.
It's
thing on the
necessary
menu.
for
They're
It's the
they're
best
actually
thing
selling
on the menu.
suits at Mountain Dew you can get that say make Baja Blasts available all year long in stores. And
Yeah.
it literally just says it
Yeah,
on the
when it's-
shirt.
when it's a special
I'm gonna
edition-
get that
when it's
shirt
a
and just
special
wear it
edition,
every day.
I'll buy about 100 cans and then stop. Like,
And the funny thing
stockpile
is
them.
I'm paying Mountain Dew
for Mountain Dew to do something. Like we're a promotion campaign made by the organization you're trying to ask to do something.
Right. It's not like you're an activist for it. You're like supporting the business.
Yeah,
That's
how
like
much money can we
Yeah.
raise to make this year round?
Yeah.
Like we already are making money off of this from Taco Bell, but how much extra money can we make to get people to want this year round?
Right.
Oh, we made $10 million to get this year round. Cool. We'll just throw it year round because we could have done it for like literally.
Yeah,
for
we could have
no
done it this
cost.
whole time.
Yeah,
we
no
would have
cost
made a profit.
anyways. Yeah, we would have made money anyways, but we got 10 million donations.
Uh-oh. Thank you for the shuffle, boys. King.
No.
What does that do?
So this is
He
I
has
get
a-
to make a rule.
He gets to make whatever.
It's King's
rule he
Cup
wants.
for a reason. So
Okay.
I get to make a rule, and if you guys break the rule, you have to drink. So I'll say every time Patrick drinks, he has to eat a Taco Bell sauce packet, and if he
Nice.
doesn't, he has to drink again.
All right, you're trying to get me to vomit tonight.
I just ate a Diablo.
The packet.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? You're a sick human.
What's right with
Nah,
you,
he
dude?
knows what he's doing.
Are we live?
He's living his
Yeah.
best life.
He ate. Yo,
Someone clip that.
yo. No, wait. No.
It's just sauce. It's not. It's not
It's
the
on
end of the world.
that.
That's funny.
Of course, it's unnecessary. When is it necessary to eat sauce?
Okay, I got a 10.
I'm nauseous at this
Categories. So you say a category, we say something in it.
point. Oh my god.
Psytrance.
Oh fuck.
Give me one.
Anything. Oh my
I know
goodness.
of like 3.
I know none.
Do you know any Psytrance artists?
No.
Categories.
The
Patrick's
lava.
categories.
Well, there we go.
Pharaoh.
And we're fucked.
You don't know infected mushroom?
I quit this whole game.
I'll
I
be
quit.
back with another drink for you.
I quit. The box is by you.
It's gone.
Ooh.
We drank all 12 of those.
Unless Riley.
You can drink that and use that as the king cup.
Unless Riley and them grabbed one.
It's Modelo time now, Buckaroo.
That's fine.
Yeah, Psytrance, come on.
But you also have
I
to
did.
drink.
I went
you
to
have-
I went to Infected Mushroom when they were at the slowdown.
Yeah,
like
they're
that was the
I
one.
forgot about
That's
them.
actually the
I
one.
know, I was like, why
that's
did he
the
say that?
literally on my SoundCloud. I don't have a lot of Psytrance, but the one artist that I have more than one song of that's Psytrance is
Yeah.
Infected
you
Mushroom.
guys got to check out.
I went with Reese.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I
I'm so
showed
sorry.
I'm
Reese
so
Infected
upset.
Mushroom.
I'm so upset that you as soon as I literally gave up, you're like Infected Mushroom. I just could throw
was like, yeah,
myself.
I was surprised.
You looked
across
like you
the
were
room.
about to throw your body. If
Yeah,
your
I
body
could've-
was that truly, you would have been like.
I could have
Yeah.
just flung myself like a fucking fish
You guys
across
gotta,
the room.
You guys got to check out the Chilluminati live streams. So like Chilluminati is like Sacred Earth, some of the best Psytrance festivals in the Midwest or
Okay.
America. They do live streams like once every 2 weeks
Like
or so.
Twitch live streams.
Twitch live streams, yeah.
Okay.
I can send you guys links. Yeah,
Yeah.
just Chilluminati. They're great.
Just hit the group chat with all the best live
Yeah,
streams,
please.
and I'm on that.
We're gonna be playing some Psytrance
so-
during the D&D. You best believe.
Oh yes, we will.
So
Yep.
if I don't eat this, I drink again.
Yep.
I'm drinking again. I'm not
Perfect.
eating any
I'm
salsa.
cool. I'm cool with that.
No, is it? I
It's
can
not that-
I
just
can
get-
drink way more than I can eat salsa.
You're missing out.
I love all these salsas, but like if I eat them while drinking, I'm not gonna have a good night.
You're missing out.
And not only am I gonna puke now, I'm gonna poop my brains out later, at like 2 a.m.
Oh, the anticipation.
Not happening.
Where's the sorry mom?
I'm looking for that too.
Here we go.
Sorry mom.
Always the plan. Gotta poop
Okay,
yourself.
it's your turn, Buckaroo.
Eight.
Mate,
Zach,
I'm cool with that.
you don't have a choice if you're cool with that or not. I don't really care if you like it or not.
I'm just letting you know I do.
Is it fair to put? You can put it under the.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the safest way.
As long
to-
as it's
It's like
in there.
Jenga, where you get the loose one.
yeah, it's the
Yep.
it's the safest way if it starts.
I
Getting
get it.
fat
You're not.
stack.
You're not. It's fat stack. We have 5 on there.
Oh,
It-
cool.
well, the truly
Perfect.
can't-
Thank you, Patrick. King.
You wanted to shuffle. You were making a big deal about having
this
to
happens
shuffle.
every time, and it's fine. I will make a big deal about it every time and lose the kings always.
And I like how all your anger is directed at Patrick right now. So I'm just
yeah,
like,
perfect.
sitting
Yeah, because
here like,
he's mad because he has to
what's
cut out a
that?
2 second like 2 second me shuffling one time.
Yeah, I
and now
wasn't even recording.
Literally, that's what I'm saying. Is that you're giving me like static for the fact
know
that
either.
I shuffled one time on an off fucking camera.
Okay.
I have a king. So I think it'll be easy. Patrick must drink alone
Oh, that's really sad.
unless he eats a sauce packet. If he eats a sauce packet, then I would be mated during that time period. But if not,
I'll drink by myself the whole rest of the night.
Patrick has to drink with all of us.
Patrick has to drink alone.
Every time that we drink, Patrick.
That's a better rule because that's fine.
I'd rather you have
Patrick
friends.
I'm not eating any
Yeah, I was
sauce
gonna say
packets.
drinking
Good.
alone is very sad.
It wouldn't work. I tried to get him to eat a sauce packet. It's not
not.
bad. It's
No,
good. It's delicious.
It's not that you're hyping it up in your own head.
Yeah, I am. And I'm
I got a
not
7, which is what?
Heaven. Reach your hand up to the sky as fast as you can. Last person.
eating. Doesn't matter. I'm drinking with everybody.
You guys can make me drink.
We can't. You have to drink anyway.
Do I?
Now every time any of us drinks, we have to drink. That was my rule.
You said Patrick has to drink.
We have to drink together.
Oh, we all drink when anyone drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So the game basically is worthless because we're all drinking. So it doesn't matter.
Usually after 2 or 3 kings, this is what it turns into.
Yeah. So
Or
it's
more
whose
than-
line
or
is it
more
anyway?
than one mate. So if we get 3
Points
eights,
don't
it's
matter.
literally 3 mates, and literally it's just a fucking, it's metaphor at that point. It's just like for fun. All right, so Paul.
Oh, double mate. Oh, so we're mated twice. Does
I
this
don't
mean
know
we
what
have to
that
drink
means.
twice every time?
No.
Is
So
that
what
how
happens is you don't have to drink unless I eat a sauce packet. Paul has to drink with me every time.
But we're already
changed
drinking
that
every
rule.
time.
I changed that rule. I said if I don't want Patrick to drink alone. We have to drink every time you drink.
Yeah,
So
we're
we're
Okay,
mated
so
with
yeah,
you.
everybody's
So I have to
drinking
drink
together
twice now?
Yeah, we're all.
And I also have to drink twice now.
Jesus.
For every one drink Patrick has.
Math is fun.
So double mated us.
So do I win this now? So I'm winning.
You're
I'm winning
somehow. I don't know.
You got 2 kings. I got 2 8s, and I'm winning.
King. Damn it. 6 chicks. We don't have those.
Yeah. Fuck chicks. No, I was kidding. I love you chicks. 5.
Guys.
Uh,
Burgers and guys.
so double for y'all.
Yep. Cheers.
Remember when Five Guys was good?
I do.
I
Actually.
do. I haven't gotten it in a while.
Rest in peace.
I've heard they've gone down to 4. It's not nearly as nice.
Yeah, they sold out. 3.
Perfect. So we drink twice and Patrick drinks once. He
What
has
is
3,
three?
which is me. So he has to drink since he drew it.
So he drinks and we drink?
Yep.
Jeez, I don't... Okay. Is it...
It's the King's Cup. I blame the king.
Usually this game's with like 5 to 8 people.
3 people. Maybe we can figure it out. That's how life
With
works.
3 people, it's.
2, you, which means
So if you
there's
make,
no.
You
no
ruined the
advantage
game
here.
by making everyone
so
drink
here's the
at
thing:
same
if you make
time.
Paul drink, he drinks once. If you make and then you drink once, and then I drink once because I'm
You
made it with
ruined the
everybody.
game by making
So if
everyone-
you make Paul drink, so this is the trick. You make Paul drink, we all drink once. If you make me drink, you guys drink twice, and I drink once.
I don't...
I'm gonna take one for the team. 2, me.
Oh my god.
So then yes,
We all drink once then,
Yeah.
right?
Yep, because we're all mated.
We don't have to drink twice
You have to
Yeah.
drink twice.
Nobody does.
Okay.
Yep, it's
because
unless
we
I
didn't
get
make
picked.
Patrick.
If
drink.
I drink, then if I lose,
I just
then
want
everybody
a
drinks
king
twice.
so I can say erase all those bullshit rules
Yes,
you guys
that's what I
already
do.
had.
That's, every time I get king, that's what
3
I do.
is
me.
me, so I drink, so
Yeah, we
everyone
all drink.
drinks. This is not even a game anymore. This is justifying alcohol.
This is drinking with like game and very
You said
lowercase
defying
letters.
alcoholism. Yes, exactly.
This is-
what it is.
Oh, I know what it is.
7. We all drink.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I said, you ruined the game, Zach.
I'm so glad you're
There's no
realizing this,
point.
Paul. I've done this so many times in the past.
Well, it's dangerous. It's getting dangerous.
It's getting
right?
dangerous.
King. 10 categories. Fish.
There's no such thing as a fish.
What
Okay.
the fuck?
No, yeah.
No,
We
it's
drink.
true.
We drink Patrick.
No, technically, if you look at it from a scientific level, a tuna from like like a tuna and a salmon are more evolutionary diverse than us and like
aquatic creatures
us
in
and
general
other
are.
birds. You know?
Most aquatic creatures.
Yeah.
Blah,
So
blah,
like
blah.
in a scientific
aquatic
in a scientific sense, there's no such thing as a fish because that evolutionary line is so diverse that there's not really as much. But yeah, we can
Okay.
play. I'll play tuna.
So,
We'll
yeah,
actually
tuna.
play the game.
Tuna. Okay.
I just
Catfish.
wanted to make.
I like that.
I wanted to sound smart.
I
in
like
my
that. I
live
like that.
stream.
Salmon.
Bass.
You said salmon.
Yeah.
Sunfish.
Trout.
Carp.
Bluegill.
Starfish.
Catfish.
Grouper.
Lobster.
Horsefish. Or, sorry, seahorse.
A horsefish. You heard it here
I
first.
wish, dude.
They should call them horsefish. Come
I
on.
think that'd be
A
way more
walleye.
accurate. A sturgeon.
Hammerhead shark.
Northern pike.
The
Swordfish?
Yep,
Okay.
swordfish.
Great white shark.
A gar.
A octopus.
Octopus are not fish.
Yeah.
What are they?
They are
Cephalopods?
Cephalopods.
Drink.
All right, I'll take it. I mean, lobster is also a crustacean.
Yeah, lobster's not a fish either. I don't know who said that.
I did.
remember. Okay. Yeah.
So you
twice
double,
then.
yeah, you double lost, bud.
Buckaroo.
You said fish and then lost twice.
Okay, we got queen. What does that mean?
Questions. Patrick's favorite game.
What is it? What do I do? Just
Fuck.
So it's questions and whose line, basically. So everything we say has to end with a question.
Oh, sweet.
We can only say single clause sentences.
Okay. So what's up, Patrick?
I don't know, Zach. What is up?
Do you think that was questionable, even though I won't count it?
I don't know. Do you think Riley might be here today?
Who's
you know-
Riley?
Does he run Matsunami Corp?
What's that?
Do you know what a evolved business is?
Do you know what an evolved fish is?
What's a fish?
What is a fish?
Do you know what a sturgeon is?
Have you ever felt one?
Have you ever been inside one?
Do you think I know
Have
that
you?
answer?
Have you? Do you know
Do
from
you really
experience?
want the answer to that question?
What do you think?
Did your
I
mother
really
ever,
don't think.
did
I
you-
really don't think you want to know.
Did your mother ever hug you?
That was a sentence.
That's a statement.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a
Either
statement.
way, yes. But that's
We all
not a
drink
question.
though, so it doesn't.
No, wait.
fucking-
I lose, so you guys drink twice.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Perfect. Thank you for losing, Patrick.
You made the rule, man.
I did. I can't deny it.
You can't.
I'd be so upset about this card if you didn't make this rule. 3 is me, so I drink once, but everybody else drinks twice.
Perfect.
Define a drink. Like, do I just like take a sip? Is that a drink?
Oh, this shit's
A
about
chug's
to
a
pop
drink?
out.
Sips
here.
count.
Yeah, you're gonna lose, Buckaroo.
Jack, never have I ever. A good getting to know you.
I'm glad we haven't done this yet.
Right? Same.
You get 3. So some. Oh, Zachary. Oh, Zachary.
Easy fanner.
Easy fanner.
It's a fanner.
Dude, that's just a classic fanner, man.
Yeah.
We all know the classic fanner. It's like that Prague move. You gotta go under the 10. Oh, I would be careful with the bend. Oh, listen to the kiss. You're gonna be
No!
easy fanner, man.
No, it was a simple fanner.
You're about to be a fucking.
It was a classic
You're gonna be
fanny.
a Visco girl coming up. You're gonna
We
hear
still
like
have to finish the Never
coming
Have We
out.
Ever, though.
We do, but yeah, we can
You're
we
going
can
hard.
start while
Pay
I'm.
attention. Okay, what's the never?
With
Have
Never Have You Ever what, Zach?
Never have I ever. Never have I ever been overseas.
What's overseas? Like, so off of the North
Out of
America.
the sea.
Out of
yeah.
America.
North American
Yeah, if
continent.
you've been over a sea,
Do I drink?
You're not.
No,
Have
you
you-
just you have 3 fingers.
Yeah,
so once you
I've
get
been
down,
to Europe and Jamaica.
so once you get down to 0, then you drink.
And I was gonna go back to Europe, and I was gonna go to. I guess it was
Ah,
South
so
America,
wait, does the Cayman Islands and Cozumel count as North America?
It's a sea,
but
I'd
it's
say
but,
you crossed a sea to
crossed
get
the sea.
there.
but it's part of the North American continent.
You still crossed over a sea.
But you said
I said overseas.
he's cheating me. Right
I'm
now.
not cheating you.
I hope that doesn't fan out at all, and I hope it's literally about to pop out again. I can already tell.
No, it's
Okay, is it my turn to ask a never have I ever? Or
Yes.
Okay, never have I ever. Oh,
Zach
Visco
loses
girl.
that.
Did I have a chance?
No,
It was a Visco
no, I
girl.
tried to
No,
tell
you had a chance. You just
No, we didn't.
flubbed it the first time.
Every
You had a
person
I
that
chance
did
says
the first time. I could have done it. Yeah,
But
I
you
felt
went
it
too
out.
hard with it.
every person that says that after the cards pop out that they can get it has broken the seal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is once the
Has
cards
Jeff, hasn't Jeff Updike done it?
No,
No, he failed.
he broke. He broke.
Straylight, Dybbuk.
No, okay, so he got it that one time, and then at the second, literally 2 cards went, and he got the 3rd card, and he broke it.
Yep.
next card would have been a 5.
We all have been drinking.
Would have been
anyways.
guys. Let's finish this Never Have
Yeah.
I Ever, then we'll call it on the live.
Okay.
Also, comment down below. Who do you want to see on the podcast? Also, if you like Paul, give us a heart.
Yeah.
We love Paul.
I like me sometimes.
Oh, Riley. Matsunami.
Oh,
That was
Riley.
Justin.
Oh, that's Justin.
Justin.
Justin's gonna be part of the D&D group, by the way.
He is.
Aw.
He says he's going to leave a comment. He likes Paul. I'm glad you like Paul.
I like me sometimes. Okay, my turn. Never have I ever gotten a piercing.
That's a good one. Yeah, I never thought about that.
That's rough.
I can see both of you. Something was like,
Never have I ever been in any what are they? Artistic extracurricular activities in school.
what do you define artistic extracurricular?
Anything but sports.
You did, yeah.
Like
So music,
Yeah, okay. Then
talent, like
Yeah.
music talent show.
I was in that talent
drama.
show. Remember that?
Any
Yeah.
sports
Yeah,
is
we
the
were.
only thing. So sports to me is
I played
it's
Infected Mushroom.
Sports.
Do you know who Infected Mushroom is?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. I went to their show, Paul. Leave me alone. Okay, so
No,
just
when it
because I
came
don't
up-
like Psytrance as much as you doesn't mean you have to make fun of
No
me.
one
okay?
likes Psytrance as much as I do.
I
you should
know,
like
but
it
that
a
doesn't mean you
little.
have to bully me, Paul.
I bullied people for less.
You heard it
can't
here
argue
first,
with
post.
that.
Paul bullies me.
All the
What do you
time.
want to do?
Nothing, but I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
That's what I want to do is cry.
Aw.
Hell yeah.
In everyone's bed.
Yep. Yeah.
And
You
everybody's
run
bad.
around.
I'm
crawl, but
a
it's a
serial
cry
bed
crawl.
crier.
It's a cry crawl.
Yeah, he cry. I've woken up and there's been a few times that I've found a wet spot near my face and it's just Patrick crying and cuddling me every night.
No, I just cuddle myself in anybody's bed. I'm just literally like that one corner.
You're holding yourself like an egg and you're crying.
I'm in the corner of anybody's bed crying.
You're also sweating. So you're entirely wet from head to toe and you're just leaking.
What's up, bud?
I'm a serial
Okay,
crier.
we all
I
have
cry
one.
in everybody's
We all have one.
beds.
So you
Riley,
can kill
I
us.
It's
cry
my
in
turn.
everybody's
You
beds.
can
I'm
kill
a
us
serial
right now.
crier. I make wet spots at everybody's beds because I cry there in the middle of the night.
Patrick, we got one left. It's his turn. He can kill us both right now.
He's gonna kill me. Zach already lost, so it's fine.
Never have I ever not followed through with getting a tattoo.
I've never set up a tattoo.
I've never set up a tattoo.
Have you wanted a tattoo?
Well, I mean,
Have I had
Have
ideas?
you wanted a tattoo? So
I've
you've
had
never
ideas.
followed through with the tattoo.
I've never. I know.
But you said
Whoa,
not
whoa,
followed through,
whoa.
so that's saying it's.
I still
You
still
can't
have.
say he hasn't followed
Never
through.
have I not
He never
followed
chickened
through.
out. He never chickened out.
No.
Because
Yeah,
not following through is saying
still,
you had
I
a
will still
plan
get
and
it.
do it.
See, I was thinking more so. Never have I ever said I've wanted to gotten it and not gotten it yet.
The phrasing was bad.
That's key. I
We
thought it
both
was
have our
great.
fingers up. No.
All right,
Paul.
I'll take it. No problem in the game. No problem.
He was
How do I
attacking me.
kill
That's
both
what he
of
was
you real
doing.
quick?
Yeah, that's what I'm
This
trying.
guy.
Never have I ever seen a dog and not said you're a dog.
I can say that I have not done that
Every-
a few times.
Every time.
Sometimes I do say that you're a
Every
dog,
time. Every time.
but I've
You
not.
say it every time? No, you don't.
On Jesus Christ.
Every dog you see, you go, you're a dog.
Wait, are you saying
so
every
just-
every
do I
dog
have
you
to
I'm
see?
saying it's
okay,
I have
so
never
every-
not.
Okay,
said,
so every dog.
you're a
Do I have
dog.
to
With
say dog?
every
Can I
dog.
say doggo, puppo? Could I say
No,
other
I
variations?
say you're a
No,
dog.
I've never
to
said.
every
I've
dog.
never done that.
You suck.
I'm trying
Cheers.
to campaign that everyone, when you see a dog,
Oh wait, you
let them know
still have to drink
you're a
twice.
dog. We're done. I don't care. I'm almost done with this. What's a drink? Like
I acknowledge
we
every
haven't
dog
established
as
the
a-
rules of what a drink is. Like I can take a
I
sip and that's a drink. I
establish
can take
every
a chug, that's a
dog
drink.
as a doggo, pedo, buggo, everything. I give a dog.
But you don't say the phrase "you're a dog." Hey,
no,
you can say
no,
"Hey,
I
doggo,"
quit. I'm done.
but that's
I'm
not
out.
saying you're a dog. Like saying you're a dog is
You heard it
something
here first,
everyone
folks.
should say.
Podcast with Paul, D&D master.
Don't say
Good night,
that.
y'all.
Yeah, keep it
Patrick's the
weird.
one going to bed.
Patrick's going.
I'll meet. Well, he'll be in my bed in a few hours crying.
crying. So yeah.
If you guys need a wet spot from crying in your bed, hit your boy up.
Thank you, man. That's our manager.
These tears will make you stronger.
They will. They're filled with strength and dexterity.
Okay.
Well, thank you again, everyone, for tuning in to the Boss Puss Between the Cheeks podcast with the one, the only Paul Brunetti. Thank you for having this happen. We appreciate every one of you that's watching this or has watched this. Check this out on YouTube next Thursday. This Thursday, we have the Gargoyle. And either way, thank you. Here's Justin. He's also in our D&D group.
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be fun. I'm excited for that.
it's going to be great. So check it out. We're going to have a D&D podcast, name pending,
Yeah, we're still
in about
debating
2
that.
weeks.
Yeah.
But we're going to find it out. My name is Plumble B. Plumbleton, and I am a fish person who weighs 300
You're a
pounds.
blobfish, man.
I am very, very thick, and I have a
I am
family
very,
who was
very-
enslaved.
And he has a flute.
I found a recorder. Could you pass me that?
He's got magical bardic powers inspired by his master.
Tumble. His name is Tumble. That's my
Aw.
master. Yep.
Cute little
And he
toes.
gave me his Speedo that he found like many years ago. But
Okay, so play us out. The trill. The vibrato you put into it was
bro, I was in
I
a
was like
private
the
school,
yeah.
dude. I fucking I
the
had one of
vibrato.
these.
I was impressed by. Like, no one makes a recorder sound good because it's a recorder. It's
Yeah.
the most pathetic sounding instrument. But the vibrato,
Thank you,
I
Paul.
like that.
Thank you.
So fun fact about some deep lore about Zach's character if you're watching this. So his character actually played the recorder underwater for the first couple of years and never made a single sound because it would just be bubbles, you know? And then when he finally made it to the surface, he realized, oh shit, it actually makes sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
He just
Yeah,
heard
it's
certain
bubbles
bubbles and really liked
I
the
thought it was
bubbles.
cool, but I was
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
underwater, and it wasn't doing shit.
And we'll go through all the characters in the first episode. So
Yep. So check it out.
See.
Plumble. Go check out Barrel, our DM Paul, and then Patrick, name pending.
and
It'll
to
be great.
quote Diablo hot sauce and done.
And done. Thank you all. Have a great night. Thank you and thank you.
Keep it real.